and I don't know if Aaron's going to make it, but we'll see what happens. So last session only worked with Dr. Addis to cure himself of Dr. Rizal's bioweapon. It's touch and go, despite the hallucinatory effects of the infection, he ultimately saves his life. Dr. Addis reveals his worry about his significant other, a Dr. Falsey, a scientist of alien ruins or that sort of thing, who has tenured position at the University of Idalia Minor in the Hope System. Max decides there's bigger things to fix than himself, and he questions Mr. Tim and gives him the message that Jessica Elizabeth, thinking that Mr. Tim is some way Jessica Elizabeth's brother, Timothy, but he really doesn't find much in the process. Basilio becomes a member of the Bishop Gambit crew, and then he learns of a casino ship with teamsters stranded in danger. The message is garbled. There's something about pirates and aliens and that sort of thing. And Max is propositioned by Nicole. Harm is propositioned by Nicole to take Father Cambrian's job and learn what he can about the android commune. And Father Ambrian's job is to take these monks to retrieve a god core from this android commune on some sort of asteroid en route to the Hope System. Nicole dislikes androids and thinks they're dangerous, and Max obviously gets that sense. The crew then come together and decide what to do next. Check in on Dr. Addis's love, Falsey, take Father Cambrian's monks and retrieve the god core from the android commune, rescue teamsters, and travel to the casino luxury liner that has sent out a distress beacon. And in the end, by ways both botched and dangerous, the Gambit crew decide to take the monks aboard. Max agrees to send the god core out into cold space from Nicole in order to get gear. Basilio convinces the crew to do the right mission and save his people first, and the rest can wait, but time is ticking. Max agrees, believing that the lost alien artifacts and alien eggs that they mistakenly gave to the pirates must be involved, at least in the way Basilio has kind of told him what Jirth has told him about the message and what he read about the message. Basilio also, unbeknownst to the crew, botches his attempt to make a flamethrower with Cobalt, but he's the man to get things done, and such it is. And at the end of the day, as they slide into hyperspace, Harm puts on Jessica Elizabeth's red void armor helmet, and there's a message waiting for him. And Jessica Elizabeth, that message is somewhat personal, odd, and difficult to interpret. And Harm knows where to go in hyperspace or has coordinates of some nature. And Jessica Elizabeth has given him the responsibility of deciding when that may happen. Any questions?
Nope.
Nope. All right. So what we're going to do is the Bishop's Gambit has really only had time to get 2 upgrades. One is a 2-position torpedo missile firing that's been strapped onto the bottom of the hull, and the other one is a comms array or eavesdropper where they can jam comms and eavesdrop to communications. All the other upgrades just didn't really have time to be completed, and those 2 really set them back about 23 million credits. The hyperspace travel is otherwise uneventful. Mr. Tim is somewhat engaged in taking the new additions to the ship and integrating them, and doesn't converse with Max all that much. And en route, really, the casino ship has the farthest transits. It's about 7 days out. And then Idalia Minor is about 5 days triangulated. And then the android commune is a little bit closer to that. But you all decided to go to the luxury liner first. I assume that most of the non-androids went into hypersleep?
Yes. Well, Basilio does.
Right. So I would have you all reduce your stress by 7. because it takes 7 days to get there. And then I would each of you make a body save for coming out of hyperspace, which we've done a couple times, to see if you have difficulty with cryo sleep as you come out of it.
Add a skill? No?
No, the only one who gets to add a skill is Max. Harm gets to add military training. Oni.
Should have saved that one for later.
Wow. Yeah. I expect Harm to make it. That's pretty good, Oni. That's a darn low roll. Does Oni prepare himself in some fashion going into hyperspace?
He always does. He always says a prayer.
Yeah.
Or meditative trance-like state, yes.
Maybe that's why him and Harm roll out together, not under the wear of anything. Basilio, go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, I was just going to say maybe Harm's picking up on it too. I don't know.
I think Harm probably would. Harm, Oni, you roll out of your cryo sleep coffin. What does Oni do aside from put on his clothes, take out his IV?
Maybe sings a little song that he knew from his childhood.
Yeah, he looks good then.
Yeah.
Harm, do you say anything as you see this Oni rolling out?
I'll probably start to hum, like when he kind of like gets the tune of what the song is that Oni's singing. Probably horribly because he's not a singer, but he'll just attempt to hum along.
It's terribly off tune.
Yeah.
Basilio, as you roll out of hypersleep, how does cryo sleep affect Basilio?
Not very well. I think being a station resident, hyperspace is not something that he has experienced very often. And I think his body is revolting because he has gone 7 days without a cigarette or alcohol.
Yeah, he's forcibly detoxed.
Yeah, so he wakes up in like a very, 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 very unpleasant mood.
So, Basilio, you're obviously cryo sick. That's disadvantage for quite some time. Would Basilio just roll with it, or would he use a stim pack?
I think he would just roll with it and go straight for his cigarette and booze to try to... He probably thinks that's what he needs.
Okay. He lights one up right there in the...
Yeah. He's just butt ass naked, just sit up, looking for his cigarettes, and just lights one in the cockpit. His hands are shaking. He's like
trying to rummage around for his hoot. All right. So Basilio lights up this cigarette. He's stark naked, and Harm, Oni, you smell the cigarette, but you also smell burning, like fire, that kind of smoke. At first, you might think it's Basilio's cigarette, but you realize you smell like this kind of charred, burning smell as you're getting dressed. And
burnt electronics?
Not electronic fire, more just, like charred organic matter.
We're near the galley, right?
You're in the cryo chamber, which is, down the hall, really, from the galley. And forward is the pilot house. You hear Mr. Tim's voice come on line. Captains and new crew member Basilio, I have the luxury liner on screen in the pilot house. No other ships are in the vicinity. Its engines are off. I have a viewport if you would like to see it.
I think Basilio would wince at to his mind, the very loud booming from Mr. Tim. Like, give me 5 minutes, as he's looking for his booze, trying to equalize himself.
Still naked, rummaging around in the three-drawer cryo cabinet next to you. Oni and Harm, do you do anything specific?
I think we should head up. I look at Harm, and I mean, really, Oni is part of the crew only by name, I think, other than his medical training. So he really doesn't know ship routines or such. So
Harm will probably just go up to the pilot area, just checking the galley on the way to make sure that the oven's not on fire, and then after that's done, just going to the pilot house.
So as Basilio nakedly, shakily smokes his cigarettes and drumming around for some sort of flask, Harm, you lead Oni towards the pilot house. You as you get towards the galley, that smell of burnt gets more and more intense. You pass by the galley's airlock and you look in there, and there's this tin sitting on the galley table that's a metal table bolted to the ground. And you see Prander in the corner with his hands over his eyes, and his mouth is moving. What does Harm do?
And are you okay, buddy?
Harm, is that you? Is that really you? You're not a ghost, are
It
you?
is.
You're
No-
not the ghost,
no.
the shadow. You're not the shadow. He
No.
still doesn't have legs. Harm didn't have time to get him legs yet.
Oh, so sad.
I'll
He's a-
I'll probably like go up to him and just kind of like move one of his fingers so like he can actually see me and like know that I'm not like a shadow demon or whatever he's going on about.
He opens his eye and he just like grabs you, pulls you in for this big hug. Thank God. Thank God, Harm. Shadow Ghost isn't here, is he? Her? I don't know what it is. I just closed
Nope.
my eyes and started counting. I made it to 9,873,439.
We should be good for now. We are out of hyperspace, so that's
Okay,
a time.
I'm still mad at you.
We're good.
You didn't get me legs yet.
That
Sorry about that, Prander. We didn't exactly have the time. I promise when we get back to Siesta 3, I will do my best to get you some.
Oni and Harm, you're in the galley. Harm, you stand by the airlock or you follow? I mean, Oni, do you follow Harm in or just wait for him?
yeah, I'll check out where you didn't mention where the burn smell is coming from exactly.
Yeah, there's a 4-tin cupcake container on the table, and
That's the burn.
the cupcakes have been burnt to a cinder. They're completely black. You can see smoke kind of rising up out of them in this 4 cupcake tin. At the time you look down at it, you hear the ovens ding.
Prander, have you been here all this time?
He goes, yes, for 9,987. Well, you know, that many seconds. He's still holding on to Harm.
Did you perhaps change the timer on the muffins? Or, to be honest, how did the muffin tray get full of muffin mix and get put into the oven?
I have no idea. I don't bake.
Oh, so you're not responsible.
Probably not.
And did you see anything on the
All I saw was
board?
a shadow ghost. And then I closed my eyes and start counting.
Okay, let's follow up on that in a bit. Shall we go up to the pilot house?
Let's do that. I'll do Prander backpack and just go.
Prander, like, you know, still holding on to you. You give him a big piggyback up to the pilot house. Maybe you set him down in the tech chair, you know, and he arranges himself. Mr. Tim has a visual of the luxury liner from external cameras. The hyperspace blast shield is still down, but in general, you wouldn't be able to see much out of it anyways. Most of the view is taken up by a kind of crackly, pseudo-colored screen with a slight haze towards blue. And you see this kind of Zeppelin-looking luxury liner. It's made to look like a Zeppelin. The color's a little bit off, but it's probably painted this garish red with some sort of iconography on it on the top. And you can see it out there slowly drifting a little bit, just turning very slowly in kind of an odd fashion because the engines are off. Mr. Tim comes over and says, "There it is, luxury liner A55432. Engines are off, but it seems like habitation control is still operational. There should be gravity and air.
Have any of the escape pods been used?
I cannot tell. There are 6 aft and forward. All escape pods are accounted for. None have been released." You look at the screen and he goes, "Looks like there's damage to the connecting door, but it's not too bad. Some sort of forced attachment and detachment. Seems still be functional."
Was the damage an inward explosion or a violent outward explosion?
Yeah, Mr. Tim just says it looks like whoever attached to the ship didn't have the right conduit. And so that attachment was jerry-rigged, jimmied, you know, made to work. And so there's a bit of dents, scratches around the edges of the main attachment that allows entry to the ship when it's in space.
Not claw marks, though.
No.
Okay.
Well, you couldn't see. Mr. Tim says
Well, that's
claw marks.
I feel like they would probably more accurately be like suction marks, but you know.
Basilio, how long do you stay in cryo till you get yourself?
Until he remembers where his beer was and pounds one, just to take the edge off. When his shaking stops, he'll make himself decent and put on his robe.
A robe with slippers, like a
Yeah,
smoking
robe and
robe.
slippers. And then he'll like mosey on, try to find out what the situation is.
Yeah, Basilio, you walk by the galley. You probably smell the burnt muffins, and then you continue forward to the pilot house. You go.
He'll grab a burnt muffin.
You grab a burnt muffin, like you grab it, and it just like crumbles in your hand, like it's charred. It's more than just overcooked. It's
Okay.
it's ash, really. If you
I'm
try
just
to
He'll probably like do one of these and like start popping pieces into his mouth.
He's probably inebriated enough where it doesn't actually taste like charcoal anymore.
He has to eat anything. You come up into the pilot house, and you can see the ship, the luxury liner, this casino ship that Teamsters have been on to help the engines run. Teamsters are employed on a number of ships just to make things move. And Basilio has the layout of the ship. He probably has a little wrist PDA or something that shows him the layout of the ship. He knows that there's a single double airlock door that allows ships to connect in space. There's other doors, but they're generally used when they're at a port or a docking station. They're not generally used for attaching for space supply, that sort of thing. He knows that the aft door that would allow attachment of the Bishop Gambit Spider craft is aft. It attaches to the storage area, which makes sense, where all the stevedores and teamsters would unload stuff if they needed to take on fresh supplies while in space. That's aft. On the starboard side, he has a schematic of the ship, which I'll show him here in a little bit. But as you're up there and you see the ship where you have convinced the crew to rescue Teamsters, what do you all talk about?
So like the way that I see, so I'm guessing like it's like some kind of like hologram. So he'll like do like one of these zoom things and kind of like flip the screen around, like see right there. And it like point to like a section in the back of the cargo. This is our back of the ship. It's like this is where they load the cargo. My people are probably somewhere inside, and it'll kind of like pull the map in to kind of show like a route to where he heard last of where they're at.
Right. So when he deciphered the message, he knew that 3 Teamsters that he knew, and some others, he doesn't know how many, had barricaded them or locked themselves in the vault of the ship.
Yeah.
I will actually just pop you on the map to show you what it looks like.
Do I know any of the Teamsters personally?
Yeah, you do. So most of them because they were born on Siesta 3. So Cantor, Addy, and Esteban, I believe, if I remember correctly, were 3 Teamsters that were on the ship itself, or they took jobs, thought it was a good job. It's a good paying job. It's a casino ship, rich clients, goes from port to port, that kind of ship.
Yep. All right. So yeah, I just kind of like this is probably the best path to get to them.
Right. So here is the space airlock, double airlock doors that allows conduit while you're out space or resupply. The other ones, here on the other side where the buffet bar entry and the staff hallway, those are when you're really at a docking station, docking bay with hard line conduits. They don't have a double door. They rely on a space station or a resupply station to appropriately dock, but you wouldn't be able to dock there with your ship. You would have to dock here at the kind of aft area.
Yeah. So I just looked to the group. Does anyone have any comments on how we're gonna get in?
I will take your lead. Harm?
Yeah, and I just look at the Marine.
Well, I mean, I'll take your lead in terms of a plan because they're your people, but in terms of actually taking the lead into the ship, I'll take point on that.
You do
Okay.
know that your spider craft would attach to the back. It grapples it with its 6 legs and pulls itself then belly up, attaches its airlock door to the back. So you have a way of ingress there using the Bishop Gambit's spider craft shuttle, but the Bishop Gambit itself can't connect. It would just stay off, you know.
Okay. I guess it's through the back end then. Give me like so out of character. I know I didn't succeed in the flamethrower creation.
Right.
Is
so you
it
have-
possible, being the kind of situation that we're in, is there time to try to do it again, or?
Yeah, I think so.
Right,
Like,
right.
there's no other ships in the vicinity. Mr.
Yeah.
Tim does a quick scan. It's just you and this drifting casino ship. There's no pirate vessel that you notice. There's absolutely nothing that you can see. It's just the Bishop Gambit and this casino ship. And so the crew does have time to plan what they might do. If Basilio would like to try to make another flamethrower.
Yeah.
I would like to
So-
point out that I'm pretty sure Max bartered for at least one flamethrower with Nicole in case this doesn't work. Of course, Harm would not know this, but he would know that Nicole gave us at least one flamethrower.
I think Max would tell you he got 1 flamethrower, 2 SMGs, and 2 other standard battle dress armor.
Okay. Well, I'd like to try for one. I'd be like, okay, seems pretty straightforward.
All right. So, Basilio, if you're going to perhaps, you probably were working on it for a day
Yeah.
or two in hyperspace anyways. If you had worked on it and you had a actual flamethrower to look at, I would give you an advantage on your roll.
Don't we?
Right? I think it would be intellect plus industrial equipment at advantage, and see if you can make a second one.
Okay.
Oh.
Hey, I did it. Well, I rolled well.
Right. So what does Basilio do after he makes the second one?
Yeah, I think he would start getting ready, I guess. Like, he doesn't have anything in terms of like armor or anything, but is there anything that we have?
You could put on one of the extra sets of armor that Max got from Nicole, which is a standard battle dress, or you have a vac suit. Everyone has a vac suit. Well, you know, Bishop Gambit has a vac suit.
Does one need to be trained in battle, wearing the battle dress?
Not really. It's just like any other suit. It's just a bit more bulky than a vac suit. You know, Harm is there. Let's see what a standard battle dress is. Harm would probably give you some degree of go by.
Okay. So it doesn't
I
have
would definitely be giving pointers.
Right.
Just
So
be
what I
like-
would probably do, since Oni and Basilio haven't worn standard battle dress armor, is Harm make a intellect plus military training. See if you could teach them. If you're successful, they wear the standard battle dress with no big deal. If you're not
Yeah.
successful, they just didn't get it, and they take disadvantage on speed checks. They're just
Wait, so you said
Can I ask if
military
the battle
training
dress
and
is-
it's just a
Oh, go ahead.
it's just a flat roll, yeah?
Well, yeah, so it's just a flat. It's just intellect plus military training. See if you could
Okay,
teach
that's what I
them how
thought. I
to-
just wanted to make sure because I was like,
All right. So Oni and Basilio, what happens, Harm, as you're, trying to get him into standard battle dress?
What do we wear backwards?
Yeah,
apparently you switch shoes, your helmet's on backwards, maybe your left arm goes through the right hole, but essentially, Harm, it's because it's so second nature to Harm, he doesn't fully, know how to explain it. He can explain it up to a point, but just not enough for people to understand who aren't Marines or training to be Marines to actually fully get it.
So Basilio and Oni, Harm tries to show you how to wear this standard battle dress. And, you could get it on, but Oni and Basilio have a choice. They could wear the standard battle dress, which gives them 7 points of armor, but they take disadvantage on speed checks, or they could ditch it and decide to wear a vac suit, which only gives them 4 points of armor, but not the disadvantage to speed checks.
Oh, I already had a vac suit up.
Uh-huh.
It only says 3.
Oh, 3 points. My fault. 3 points.
Okay.
So you would sacrifice 4 extra protection points, but you wouldn't take disadvantage to speed checks. Oni, what do you think he would do? Would he wear the standard battle dress, or would he wear a vac suit instead?
I mean, as far as we know, we're going over just to rescue some people, correct?
Yep. Basilio did have the message that somehow there's some sort of aliens involved that were, and that the teamsters he knew had barricaded themselves in the vault, so it's not a walk in the park. Or
Well, to be honest, then I would think he would put it on because it's a passive. It's not like he's going to be carrying a weapon. He's still going to be a pacifist.
Okay.
So, but he's not foolish enough. He remembers seeing the other aliens. So, and especially those dogs that defied gravity and ran along the walls and
okay,
had like 7 legs, I think, or something like crazy like that, and multiple mandibles.
Uncheck your monk hood sash and just have the standard battle dress checked. Yeah, Basilio, you see Oni putting on this stuff.
Yeah.
What would Basilio do?
Just to be that guy. It also says that the vac suit and the description also gives you a disadvantage at speed checks.
Does it?
Yeah.
Oh, it does say that. We're just nixed it though.
Okay. So you said it's not going to have, or it's going to have?
No, the vac suit wouldn't have it.
Okay.
You would.
So
Yeah.
I think Basilio would get frustrated with the way that Harm was teaching him how to do it, and he's like, "Yeah, I'm just gonna wear the vac suit."
Okay. So Oni puts on standard battle dress.
He'll do it. He'll do it to make Harm feel good.
Oh, I can see Oni
Yeah.
doing that.
Yeah.
Nodding us.
Basilio's not in that business to making others feel good.
Harm, what do you wear?
I'll probably just wear whatever armor I already have,
Okay.
unless Basilio's not like. Wait, let me double check that. Oh yeah, mine's exactly the same as that, so it doesn't really matter. But I have a feeling that Harm would kind of like subconsciously know that Oni's trying to make him feel a little bit better by wearing it.
So-
but at the same time, he knows how those dogs defied gravity, so maybe that's part of the reason why Oni made that decision.
So Harm does not wear Jessica Elizabeth's armor.
No, he's still kind of wary of it right now, even though it has better armor defense. He's still kind of on the fence about what the
You can teleport,
implications of
man.
actually wearing that thing is.
You know what it does. It's on your character sheet. It has one other special thing, but I see Harm maybe shying away from it at the moment. I was just curious what Harm would do and how would he approach that. He, the little pinprick behind his right ear is well healed, and so you prepare yourself. Basilio makes another flamethrower, or he had cobbled together one anyways. And what do you do? What's the plan aside from taking the spider shuttle over? What do you outfit yourself with? You have a schematic of the ship, and what do you do?
Okay, who wants the flamethrower? Okay, Oni's not gonna take the flamethrower. I guess I'll take one of the flamethrowers just in case, because we have 2 of them. So I'll let Basilio have his cobbled together one.
Yeah.
I'm not that's fine.
It's like,
Okay.
why does yours look different from mine? And it's like, no, actually, this is custom made.
So Harm, you have the flamethrower. You could probably take another weapon, strapped to your back,
Oh, for
or
Pranger.
maybe two. Harm, you are almost positive that your Seeker Smart Rifle isn't going to be really good in close quarters. You could take the flamethrower, equip a shotgun on your back, and even sling a submachine gun, or you could just take 2 weapons. How does Harm outfit himself as a Marine, as he's going to transit this ship. He has no idea what's on board.
Probably. Wait, what were the other two options? Like a shotgun and
Submachine gun.
the machine gun? Okay. He's probably gonna take both of those as well, like the other two options, knowing that like his normal gun isn't like the best option in this scenario.
Right.
So he's probably gonna take two other ones that are better for close combat in case he needs them. But he's gonna like have the flamethrower at the ready in case.
Oni, you're going without anything.
A foam gun. Remember?
Foam gun. Okay, foam gun. But nothing else.
What else could I carry? Could I carry a crowbar just in case I need to open a door or something?
Oh yeah, you
I
can
have
carry.
a crowbar.
Oh, you have a
Okay.
crowbar. Okay, that's fine then. I don't need to take that.
Okay.
I've got a bunch of med stuff and I got lots of pharma.
Oh, okay, you bring pharma with you. I see that.
I'm
Do
bringing
you-
pharma.
Do you prep the pharma before you go? Or like, have you rolled it up already? Like, is there like 3 in there? Like, you know,
Yeah, I've got them lined up. Color coded.
with Dr. Addis's brass lighter.
Yeah, a Zippo.
Basilio, you have a flamethrower. Do you? Is that it?
Flamethrower and a crowbar.
Okay, flamethrower and a crowbar. Roger. Do you do anything else before you board the spider drone or spider shuttle of the Bishop Gambit?
I don't know. So I know, I mean, there's 3 entrances. Are there any, like, I mean, I don't know. The ship seems very small in scale.
Okay.
But yeah, I'm not 100% sure how
Make
one would
a
reach.
probably intellect with rim wise check. See if you know anything else about the ship.
Ooh, you do.
Oh, look at that. Basilio knows that the vault in general is key coded. Typically a vault on a casino ship, you know, maybe Basilio has worked a casino ship or, you know, or he's worked on one in the docking because he's never left Siesta 3. But perhaps a casino ship docked at Siesta 3 at some point. Basilio had to do some work with
Yeah, that makes sense.
teamsters. The vault itself in general has key cards, and it doesn't just have one. Typically there's a key card at the vault station. Typically there's a key card probably in helm, and there may be a key card in security. Now, in order to open the vault, Basilio knows that all 3 key cards have to be in place within 10 seconds of each other.
Are they all like, okay, so when you say a synchronous turnover, are we all in front of the vault or in the different locations?
Yeah, in different locations. Like usually the helmsman, the teller, and the head security officer are in, you know, they're on radio and they say, okay, opening the vault on 3, and chick chick, they put all their key cards in at the security station, the helm and vault, and then the vault door opens.
Okay.
Basilio
So-
would probably think that you could maybe somehow cut your way in, but it would take a while with a laser cutter, probably 20, 30, 45 minutes to actually cut your way in with a laser cutter.
Yeah. Okay.
Ooh.
So I explained that to the crew. It's like, so if they're in the vault, most likely we're gonna need the key cards. If anything, and this is still messing with the holographic mapping. Like, if anything, one of them's most likely in the security. What was it again? The security space.
Yeah, security space, helm, and there's probably one right at the vault door, or at least that's the configurations. That's the most
Yeah.
common, which makes sense. You know, the helm.
Yeah. So like with this kind of class of ship, that's probably where they're located. That's probably where they're located. That we have to like push the buttons at the same time to get that. That's probably the most expeditious way to do it. So we're gonna have to split up. Nothing. Don't split the party.
I mean, knowing our luck, some shit's gonna go down either way.
It's
so
designed that way.
But of course we need the key cards first, so no splitting until we get the key cards.
that's fair.
Agreed. But we could always sweep to make sure that the room is fairly clear.
So let's go through the door.
Okay, so you load up on the spider shuttle, and you close the hatch. It cycles off the Bishop Gambit, you know, and Basilio would know it. It just sounds wrong. It just sounds more grating than it should. Like the spider shuttle shakes a bit, and Basilio knows that it's been, you know, hackneyed into the starboard airlock when it, you know, it's obviously an add-on that wasn't meant for the ship, and the spider spider shuttle detaches from the Bishop's Gambit and begins to turn itself over and float. You're not that far away, but you float over to the edge.
Yeah.
As you're there, moving over, Mr. Tim has control of the autopilot, and Harm, you have a single long tone and then 3 short tones followed by 3 short pings, ping, ping, ping. And that's a private locked communication. And Mr. Tim comes on and says, Captain Harm, I have locked torpedoes on the luxury liner. Now, the Bishop Gambit has 2 torpedoes now because they've been added. And Mr. Tim, the ship's AR, says, I have locked 2 torpedoes on the luxury liner.
Oh, we're not using them until absolutely necessary, Mr. Tim.
And he says, yes, space is dark and cold. Be careful out there. At least something unexpected happened.
Will do. We appreciate the concern. Oni, you have anything to say?
Yes, Mr. Harm, or is it? Are you like a sergeant, or are you like, what is your rank? Just curious. Master Sergeant?
Demoted civilian. He has no rank at the moment.
But what were you?
Yeah, I technically discharged. Out of character, I have no idea literally any ranks of any branch of the military at all.
How many years do you think Harm served?
Probably about like 5 or 10 at least, like as a bare minimum.
That's a fair number, really.
Yeah.
Sergeant at least.
Yeah, I was gonna say at least
E4, maybe not E5 if he got busted down a couple times. Probably not an E3, but maybe an E4 in the Marine Corps, relatively speaking. Obviously not a 6 or 7. Definitely not an 8.
Yeah. If anything, I'd realistically know more about the Air Force than the Marines, but
would Harm take offense then if I referred to you as your former rank?
probably not, no.
Well, Sergeant Harms, should we not establish better operational parameters for Mr. Tim when to use the torpedoes?
Oni can't hear this.
Oh, okay.
It's
right.
it's a private communication like between him and Mr. Tim and Captain Harm.
I'm sorry, I apologize.
Does Harm get a look on his face? Does Oni recognize that he's listening to something? Or Harm keep it under?
He would probably like realize that like maybe something's happening, but not necessarily like exactly what.
Okay.
Like, cause like it like Harm isn't like because Harm's one of those people where it's like you can kind of tell, but he's also learned after a while in the Marines of like I can keep my emotions on my face off of my face.
Sure. So right after Mr. Tim says, "Be careful out there. Something unexpected may happen." There's a pause, Harm, and he says to you, "Did she die well?"
If you're talking about who I think you're talking about, she died in peace.
There's no response from Mr. Tim, and then he says, "We'll await your word if the torpedoes are needed. The luxury liner would be destroyed in seconds. It would be shame to lose you, Captain."
I'm glad to hear that from you, but I'll try to make it out first. We'll try to have that as the absolute last resort.
You hear those 3 short beeps, beep, beep, beep. You've been not disconnected, but no longer in that private conversation with Mr. Tim. What is Harm thinking after that conversation?
No, I'm not actually gonna say that. I feel like my immediate reaction was that like Harm would just think that Tim's a rat bastard, but that's not actually true. I think Harm would think that Mr. Tim knows more than he's letting on, but he's not like willing to confront Mr. Tim about it quite yet until he like has more substantial like evidence for it.
What does Harm think about Mr. Tim doing a torpedo lock on the casino ship and then wishing him well?
I feel like Mr. Tim might be taking after Max's recent development and mood, so he's slightly concerned, but he has a little more pressing matters as of right now before he deals with whatever the hell that is.
Right. As soon as Mr. Tim signs off, the spider shuttle like connects to the casino ship. Basilio and Oni feel it, and it attaches to the airlock, and then you hear the ratcheting around the bottom hatch of the spider shuttle, and then you get this little red blinking light on the dash, and then it turns green that the shuttle is now connected to the casino ship, and the airlock has been secured. Who's going out first?
I probably will, realistically.
Who would follow Harm?
I'll follow.
Okay, Oni, you're in the rear. All right. So Harm, you open the hatch, and the airlock door is there, and got this round, wheel, and you open up the airlock, push it in a little bit, and the corridor, you come into this storage area, and it's dimly lit, but there's obviously gravity still. The ship is painted this garish kind of red and has, like Asian or Chinese or Japanese symbols everywhere, on the top of the parts, around the edge of the ceiling. You enter this area that Basilio knows is storage, and you see dry food, slot machine parts, spare parts for the ship, and just things are in disarray. One of the shelves has crashed down, so there's stuff all over the floor. Towards forward of the ship, you would transit through the liquor fridge and the kitchen and crew quarters, and there's a large door straight across from you where you are is kind of just coming out into, and there's a large door straight across from you with a little key card slot. And then, to your right really is where Basilio knows security and engineering is. You really just see this hazy kind of light, and there's a corpse or a body of what looks like a man in a smoking gown pretty close to Basilio's type. He's got one slipper on and his other foot is unshod, but he's laying in the wall, and there's these two giant rats, probably 10, 12 inches long, that look like they're feeding on his face in the corner. What does Harm do?
He's probably gonna mutter to himself that the shade of red that blood is more comforting than the shade that the ship is painted. But since the rats are posing no threat to us right now, he doesn't feel the need to deal with them.
Okay, so Harm, you enter. Basilio, you come in behind him. You see the same thing. Oni comes in behind you. You're kind of standing just inside the airlock. Maybe Harm is at point. Basilio, you have the schematic. As you enter this pace, the body is probably here in this corner right there. Basilio, what do you do as you enter the storage area, or at least what seems to be the storage area on your schematic?
I would point to the security area to Harm so he knows where to go. And I would first look at the dead body to see if it's somebody I know. I would inspect.
So you're going to go inspect the body?
Yeah.
All right. Oni and Harm, Bass points towards the security, which is, down over here to the right. He goes to inspect this body to make sure it's not one of his teamster friends. Oni, what do you do as you enter?
Mr. Bass, how are we to enter the security door? Do you have some kind of fake badges for us?
I don't know. Try pushing it open first.
Okay.
I'll check this body, see if there's anything on it. But
Oni, you're going to go check security door?
Yep, I'll go check security door.
Okay. Harm, Oni goes to the security door. Bass goes to check the body. You're kind of standing there and point right inside the airlock door. Probably got your flamethrowers, got a little wick already lit, little flame. Yeah. What is Harm doing as his crew moves out to inspect?
He'll probably go with Oni, actually, to make sure the security isn't like, or at least go closer to the security area, just so like Oni isn't like completely alone in case something manages to jump out and just like attack him.
Okay.
Like,
So Harm and
I'll
Oni.
listen at the door first.
Okay, you listen at the door. It's dead
Oh,
quiet.
yes.
Actually, you probably hear this faint noise from forward. If any of you have ever been to a gambling casino, it's like 100 slot machine noise. Like, music, slot
All kinds of
machines.
music, yeah.
Yeah, but it's coming from forward, whereas it's just drifting down towards you. So through the forward, Oni, you go to the security door. It's just slightly ajar. You push it open, and you just see a desk. There's 3 SMG rifles in cubbies or slots, that are still stuck in their slots. You see this little pedestal with a screen, and it's blinking at you, and around like this post is a key card that's hanging off the screen.
Oh, okay. So so I can see it through I listen, I don't hear anything, I push the door open. I see the card on the screen. I scan the room, looking around in the corners and the upper of the ceiling.
Sure, you see a ray of, as you come in the door and maybe look around, you see on the one wall, probably this wall right here, that you couldn't really see when the door was, partially open, is that there's an array of functioning cameras, and you have a view of the slot maze, these just row upon row upon row of slot machines. And you have a view of the kitchen, really, and you have, or what it looks like where you're standing, and you have a view of the gaming table area in the cameras.
I'll have a look at each of them.
Okay.
Do I see anything untoward?
So in the slot maze, you see rows and rows and rows of slot machines, and you only have this tiny little view. That the camera's a little bit skewed, so you see the top as if the camera had been pushed or bumped. The slot machines themselves are about 2 meters tall or 6 feet tall, and they're in rows. You see what looks like something movement, small, but it's so fast that you can't really tell what it is. You see lights swirling everywhere, and aside from that very brief view of fast movement, which was small things, you don't really see anything. In the kitchen, you see ovens, kitchenware. There's a butcher table in the center of the kitchen, and it looks like there's dismembered rats. Those big rat like Bass is now looking at is on this kind of butcher table. It looks like the walls and floors have white tiling, but that's what you see in the kitchen, really. And then the last thing is the gaming tables, or the gaming room, which is here. And you see some of the tables are pushed over in disarray. There's casino chips littered all over the floor. That some of the tables are overturned onto their top. It looks like some may have bullet holes through them, as if someone used them for cover.
I shall report all of this information over the comms to everyone.
Okay.
And then I'm going to pick up the ID badge and have a look at whose name it is on it.
Yeah, it's just like a key card. Doesn't really have ID badge. It just says Vault Lock 3.
Vault Lock 3.
Vault Lock 3. And
so I have Vault Lock 3 badge.
That's great. That's great, Oni.
Harm is with you. Oni's, doing this thing with the body. I don't think Basilio could hear you, Harm.
I thought you said over the comms. Okay.
Oh, over the comms. Yeah, I guess you do have short range. Okay. Harm, as Oni is looking at the cameras, does Harm do anything specific?
I'll probably try to, even though he's probably gonna try to get somewhat of a closer look at the cameras, even though some of the angles are a little weird.
Sure. Make a intellect plus military training roll. Yeah, Harm, you
God damn it.
you look at the various cameras as Oni is getting the key card, examining the pedestal where the key card gets put into, and vault lock key card 3, and you watch the cameras for a while, but it just looks silent. You don't really even see the movement that Oni had saw. There's a flashing message on a screen in the desk, and it just says, message from FlySafe, message from FlySafe, message from FlySafe.
That's probably gonna strike him as a little weird, like that they didn't like open the message.
Right, there's like a keyboard there, and it has this message, this blinking cursor, but no one has like accessioned the message really.
Do we know who FlySafe is? It's probably the umbrella company, or
I don't think Max would know what FlySafe is. Oni can make a flat intellect check. Oh, look at that. Oni,
that random number generator. It's going to break some point.
Oni, FlySafe is an insurance company.
Okay.
And they typically, it's like having car insurance, like ship insurance for, that sort of thing. They insure corporations, companies, well, not corporations, but they insure private vessels. They insure lots of things, like their insurance company. And that's what FlySafe is, an insurance company.
Don't answer that message. I say to Arm, those insurance types are space parasites.
Well, we've already seen some space parasites, and I think I'd rather take those over insurance. So.
Yep.
So you leave the message alone and don't accession it. All right.
Just out of character, we're not even a little curious.
I mean, out of character, I'm pretty curious as to what that is, but like, I feel like Harm would be like, I'm not touching that. Like, that's another mystery for another time. Like, it's fine.
All right. Basilio, as Oni and Harm go to the security office and find the key, and they're watching the cameras, and they see this message from FlySafe on the security kind of console. What is Basilio doing?
Do they reveal that the message?
I don't know if they say that over.
Yeah, I don't.
Over
I don't
comms. Basilio may be locked into trying to figure out if this is one of the teamsters, but
yeah.
Yeah,
I think I would get closer to inspect. I would try to shoo the. You said they're rats? Yeah, I would try to shoo the rats away.
They're like 10, 12 inches long, at least their body.
Oh, they're gigantic.
Yeah, they're the biggest. They're the biggest.
Usual size.
Basilio, right?
Okay. Yeah, I think.
I have a question. Are space rats normal?
Yeah, that's a good question.
Anyone
That's
have
is this abnormal?
basically.
anyone have biologic skill? Let's see. Oni.
No,
I don't think botany works.
No.
probably not.
No. Basilio, you can make a intellect with Whimrise check.
Yeah, not happening.
Yeah, they just look like abnormally, as you're walking up to the body or moving toward the body, and Harm and Oni are going to the security, and they're ducking in the doorway. They just look abnormally large. Maybe Basilio is more keyed into trying to see if this is one of the teamsters. What does Basilio do exactly?
I can't really shoo them away with my crowbar the size that they are if they're freaking gigantic. I think I would light them up just for a little bit. Just cook them a little bit. Just to shoo them away.
Okay.
Rat stir fry.
So you're going to light the body and the abnormally large rats.
It is kind of an area of effect, kind of.
Right. But
Yeah, actually, let me think about this. Right, like I don't want to torch the body and the contents of it. Let me look around. Is there anything that I can like distract them with? Like, is there something else that they can kind of gnaw on, or like we are in the storage thing?
Right, you are in the storage. There are dried food boxes. There are pantry items within this dry storage.
Yeah, so I'll like look for something that would be reasonable to draw away. Specifically, I'm looking for like dessert or something that has a high concentration of sugar that would probably smell really well, and I'll pop it open with my crowbar, and I'll like chuck it in the other direction or the opposite way, maybe towards like the engine room, towards that corner. Try to get him away.
All right, Basilio. As you go to the shelves, there's boxes. You hear the rats, or these abnormally large rats, behind you. You take your crowbar, perhaps, and open a crate or, a big bag of stuff. And out from it boils this swarm of these abnormally large rats. You're bent over, perhaps, trying to grab stuff, and they just swarm out of the space in between.
The crates.
Right.
Yeah.
Start running up your arms and legs. You need to make a speed check to see if they get a hold of you. If you fail the speed check, they're going to do 1d4 of damage as they swarm over your body.
Nice. Okay. My speed is not good.
Okay. They start running up your legs. They like almost burst out of that space. These abnormally large rats, which Basilio realizes they have 3 or 4, 5 eyes. They swarm over him and just start biting through his vac suit. He takes 3 points of damage. How much does your vac suit cover?
3.
3. Okay. They bite through your vac suit and essentially kind of shred it as they're coming up and swarming up your body, and shred through the vac suit, and the vac suit's protection goes to 0. What does Basilio do?
I think as they're coming into the vac suit, Basilio tries to strip off his vac suit.
All right.
Yeah.
You like unhook the bottom and like, just
Yeah. It's like
you shred off your bottoms, right? I imagine you're making noise of some nature.
Yeah.
All right. Harm and Oni, you're probably looking down at the message that says "Message from FlySafe." Message from FlySafe. When you hear Basilio's panic, does he scream, or is it just just?
I don't think he screams. He's more like a like when you get like a bug off, you're like it's kind of like trying to shake him off.
What does Harm and Oni do?
Harm will probably sigh and just be like, "Did you
What
run into
now?
more rats or something? like what's happening?" And he'll just be like, "Let's figure this shit out and just deal with it and like have it be done with." Like he's on to some bullshit again. Like,
Okay. Do you stay in the security or you go check it out?
I'll go check it out.
All right.
I'll be right behind, readying my glue gun.
I see Harm and Oni exit the security room as Basilio is stripping off his bottoms of his vac suit. Basilio, is there anything underneath that? Boxers?
No.
Tidy whities?
God.
You strip off your bottoms. There's this swarm. You look Oni and Harm, and it's hard to tell how many they are. 10, 12, maybe 15. They're 12 to 15 inches long. They've shredded the bottoms of Basilio's vac suit, and he's hastily kind of ripped them off, like Velcro pants, and throws it kind of in the center of that room between you and him. Harm, what do you do?
Good question, because I don't really know like what would make sense in this situation. Mainly just because partially because I don't want to like shoot like a hole into like the bottom of the ship right now. He'll probably just be like, "How many rounds do you have on that glue gun, Oni?"
Yeah, I'll prepare the glue gun. So Roger, and I'll whip it out and spray the pants. I'll spray the pants.
Oni, you're going to use your foam gun, I think.
So how many are there? You said there are about 12. You said 12 to 15.
Yes.
But then you said that's how long they were. But
it's like a swarm of them. It's hard to count because it's just this mass of these small bodies, right?
Completely wriggling, maybe like forming an amorphous rat ball in the middle of the ship.
Tearing up the bottoms of Basilio's pants. He might have a couple little bite marks on his legs.
Hopefully just his legs.
You look at them, Oni, as you key up your foam gun, and you realize, oh, they don't really look like rats.
Oh,
They got way too many eyes. They got this ridge of spine down this thing. They got like 2 or 3 tails, but they're like no rat you've ever seen. And even though you're a botanist, you realize that they're not something that you've seen before. Oni, you're going to hit him with your foam gun, I guess, right?
So yes, so I just click on foam gun.
Right. You just kick on foam gun, and it should just be combat, or you should be able just to click it directly, right? You wouldn't get to add any skill. You would just roll it normal. What happens, Oni?
He realizes they're aliens, and he starts to panic a little bit. I said, well, no, that would be a stress roll then. So he doesn't know where to shoot, and he's just kind of spraying all over the place. So
All right, Harm, you're standing on the other side of this swarm that detaches as Oni's foam probably hits the side of the wall and up on the ceiling, like it's going all over the place. Each of you roll 1d20 or see who's the lowest.
Ooh, fun. Did you not roll? What?
Oni is 7.
I got an 8.
Come on. Actually, work with me here. God damn it. The
So,
one time I probably don't want to be that low.
right, Harm, you're standing there with this mass of alien rat things just seethe out of Basilio's pants, and as this mass of things, almost like it's an amoeba arm, just like vaults off the ground, and you just see it coming towards you, these wriggling giant rat-like aliens. They're going to attack you, Harm. The way it will work is you have to succeed at whatever you plan to do. What does Harm do as they detach and focus on him?
He'll probably, like, try to guess what their trajectory is, move out, and then, like, shoot at whatever, like, the middle of the mass is.
Is he using the flamethrower or his shotgun?
He'll probably be... Ooh, that's a good question, because I don't know how much liquid is in the flamethrower. So... probably he's gonna err on the side of caution and use the shotgun instead. But
Whatever he uses, he's facing
either way, it's not
Basilio.
gonna. Oh shit! Okay.
I'm unarmed.
And Basilio will get to make some sort of roll to maybe, but if you miss, then it puts Basilio in danger. Just so you know, whichever you use.
Okay.
buckshot's
That's
easier to remove than burns.
True. True. I feel like Harm would know that, so he's probably gonna stick with the shotgun because he knows burns are harder to treat.
Yeah, they are, although the flamethrower does 2d10 damage and the shotgun does 4d10.
Oh yeah, that's true. That's true. Yeah, but there's also the fact that but
Okay,
Ooh.
so you're going to fire your shotgun.
Should I start rolling a character now?
Sorry. I realize that if this doesn't go well, you're gonna be on your fourth character.
Yeah.
Okay, shotgun. Would I be able to do firearms so there's less of a chance that he's actually gonna get hit? Yeah, I do. Okay, so let's go. Fucking hell.
Jesus.
Okay. Sorry.
I was only kidding.
Not so much.
And here I was planning my next character. Let's pray that this is a lot less than... Oh, come on. Okay, 4d10. I swear to God. Oh, dear God.
That's not good.
1 wound isn't terrible in all things considering.
That's
if
not
we're being
one
honest. Then, oh my God. I was thinking Marine status. Sorry. I am so sorry. I am so sorry.
Booyah!
Fish your friends, not food.
Well, at least he doesn't have disadvantage anymore for wearing the suit.
Yeah. 46 on a 46? Dang. Okay. So I think what happens is as Bass was, relieving himself of his armor, and he gets the rats successfully off, he hears the familiar sound of a shotgun being cocked, but jumps out of the way a little bit too slowly. Yeah. Where's the table at? It's in... there it is. Nice. I am dying. I mean, it's a chest wound, so it's like, I don't know what else he could do but lay there. Probably spit out blood.
So Harm is in front of me, being attacked by multiple rats. Bass is thrown back. As far as in my quick judgment, Bass may be dead. I'm going to turn the glue gun and try to hose down the rats on Harm. Area of effect. Let's see what happens.
Harm and Rat Sculpture 2025.
Okay. I don't. No. So I can just click on the glue gun though and roll it from there, right? Yeah. No. At this point, Harm's probably tossing and running around and just is not standing still, and the glue is just not going where he wants to point it. Sorry, Harm.
He is probably gonna yell to Otis, shut up! So he's probably gonna, like, try to shake the rats off of him while yelling at Oni to try and figure out, like, if Bass is actually dead or not. Like, and if not, help him.
I think Basilio believes that this is his final moments, having a shotgun wound in his chest. I think he'll look over and maybe reach for his pouch or something where he keeps his cigarettes. And I think he will try to get his, even though he can't because he has a sunken chest wound, he'll at least put the cigarettes in his lips and hope he doesn't die. Yeah.
So I'm going to vault over. I mean, Harm's shaking these things off, and I'm sure they're either running for cover now that they've decided to tag team a Marine. Maybe they've learned a lesson. Crossing fingers. But I'm going to sort of try to do a long jump so that nothing can jump onto me, hopefully. And and actually, would I be able to do sort of like a John Wick or something? Like as I'm jumping, maybe I can spray some of them and then land and roll and arrive beside Bass, or no, you know what? Bass is more important. I'm just going to jump and roll and then get to him and hopefully be able to. Okay, I'm just going to sort of jump and get to Bass and immediately try to cover up the sucking chest wound and do some medical healing on him.
Well,
okay, so
out of character, so I only had 3 health left. I'm on 1 wound. If I took 5 from bleeding, aren't I already dead? Okay.
So it's a staged kind of thing. You're incapacitated, but you're not dead, and then it progresses. Oh, I didn't mean to roll. Okay, I'm sorry. I was listening. I just clicked on something. Okay, intellect plus field medicine. I also have a first aid kit. Will that also give a bonus? Because that's what I clicked on. I thought I would get a be able to see, but no, it's not quite that same thing. Okay, advantage it is. Woo!
Nice.
I mean, we're talking. It's buckshot. Bass, you've never seen hands move so fast. They were just covering up everything, and meanwhile, giving you just listen to my voice. You're going to be okay. We're going to cover this up. We've got this one covered. We got this one. You're going to be fine. Just relax.
As he's talking, Bass is just like
trying to out of your mouth.
Try to smoke. Yeah. He's just hanging off. He's trying to take a puff, but he can't.
He's probably gonna try and punch the closest one into the side wall so he doesn't hit either Oni or spread out. Good point. I'm probably gonna do a shotgun again because I'm probably gonna do that again. But you said they're kind of closer to the security thing, right? Okay. So I'm gonna attempt to do shotgun again because that way they're at least out of the way. So close. God damn it.
No other bonus.
R.I.P. I think the fact that he hit Vasilio is kind of like the sort of severity of it is starting to kick in of shit, he's died. So he's just that's kind of like freaking him out just enough where he's not fully focused on getting rid of whatever the hell these rat things are. So that one.
Tony and Basilio, you hear this second shotgun blast. And what do you guys do? Oni?
I duck down behind Basilio.
You use me as a shield?
If you
You're-
notice where I put my character, I'm behind you in the corner. I'm
Oni,
joking, but
yeah, you know that Basilio is still hurt bad.
Yeah.
He's probably got, 5 rounds before he makes a death save, unless something is
Okay.
done.
so
Um,
now that I've stabilized him, right, from that roll.
Right, he's
Is it
not
good roll?
losing. Right, he's not
Okay.
losing.
I'm not bleeding, but I still have to make a death save.
Okay, so I'm going to get my arms underneath him. I'm behind him, as you can see, and drag him over to the airlock and try to get back to the ship.
Okay, so you drag him onto the spider shuttle, pull him through the airlock into the spider shuttle itself,
Now,
and
the shuttle doesn't have any kind of med bay or anything.
no,
Okay.
you have to get him back to cryo really to perform surgery. He's probably gonna have to at least make 1 death save to get there.
I can't leave Harm behind, but I at least I've got him away from the rats. They won't eat his face.
Okay, yeah, you have 2 choices: leave Harm behind and get there faster, and
I'll be talking to Harm over comms. Harm! Try to make it back to the shuttle.
As soon as I get these damned rats off me.
so
I can't move you, Basilio. Can you move to the door?
let's give you options. See what the group would do. Oni, you could get him back to the ship and get him to cryo fast enough where he may not need to make his death save. But you'd have to close the airlock door and leave Harm. Or you wait for Harm, and hopefully Harm extracts himself from the aliens. But Basilio's going to have to make a death save in order to do that. You
So-
have shortwave comms to everyone.
Yeah, no, Harm, I'm not leaving you behind. Harm, I'm not leaving you behind. Get to the shuttle.
If it comes that I can't get these rats off me, I want you to leave me.
Out of game.
Like Harm will say that.
Okay.
Okay.
Out of
So-
game. Out of game. Is the armor supposed to break down that quickly? So even battle dress is only good for 7 points.
Yeah, until you fix it. At least as rules is written.
It's a deadly game for a reason.
Okay.
Yeah.
no,
Having lost
Yeah.
basically every single character that I've played.
And
Your luck is atrocious in this game.
that's different than the void armor. There's 2 parts to armor. There is APs, which are as you take damage, the APs decline. Once you get to 0 APs, then the armor is broken and you take whatever damage. And then there's damage reduction, which never really goes away, I believe. And whatever damage you take is always reduced by that amount. So if there's a damage reduction of 3 for that armor and you take 10, you're still going to only take 7. The damage reduction part, if I remember correctly, never goes away, but the APs do. So even if your APs go all the way down to 0 and you take 10, the damage reduction still kicks in, so you still only take 7.
Wait, so obviously the AP and the damage reduction are different, but what does the AP stand for again?
Armor points.
Armor points. Okay, that makes sense.
Right, it can take so much damage before it's broken.
Got
right?
it.
Or it needs
Got
to be repaired by someone with industrial equipment.
So,
Got it.
so let me just say out of character, I'm willing to let this character go, and for our RP moment, I'll offer that up there as a thing because I know like Bass is a Duke character, so there's not really any.
That would just be terrible.
Yeah, not any real connection between Oni and Bass or Harm. So I know that that's the primary crew. So this is all out of character. Like I said, I will let him go. But what I will do is I will put grief on Oni. I'll put a quest to him and be like, in my dying breaths, I'll ask him to do something. But I'll leave that up to how you guys want to handle it. But I'm willing to let this character go.
Harm, Oni probably calms you. Like, I'm not leaving you behind. You've shot Basilio. What would Harm say?
He would probably be like, if I can't get these fucking rats off me, try to save him
Okay.
as quickly as you can.
So Harm, what would you do?
Probably like try to get the rats off me and run as quickly as I can to the shuttle. If
Okay.
that doesn't work, then abandon at all costs, I guess. Like like obviously there's that little bit of self-preservation, but at the same time he's like, I expected to die well before this. So I guess alien rats is the way to go.
Make a speed check plus wilderness survival. Do you make it there? Oh, look at that. All right, Harm, how does it look when you shake yourself free? And what does Oni see, or Basilio, who's laid out on the floor?
They probably see like kind of this weird mixture of like this weird ass ballet spin thing and charge, where their ass just like goes spinning and then like a bull run straight to the shuttle.
Dive through the door and hit the lock.
Yeah, like as soon as like he knows everyone is like safe in the shuttle, like he'll like lock it.
You have Mr. Tim's voice come over. Captain Harm, you have re-entered the shuttle.
Long story short, Basilio needs medical attention that we can't give him on the casino ship.
All right. So you're going to detach and go to the Bishop Gambit to take Basilio, hopefully to save his life. Basilio, as you're transiting over, trying to breathe, what does Basilio say or do?
I think in between, his puffs of gasping for air as he's being dragged by One, I think he would grab onto his sleeve in kind of a death grip. It's like, don't leave them. Don't leave my people. Or so help me God, One, I will haunt you for the rest of your life.
Don't worry, Mr. Basilio. We will come back for them. We'll be better prepared this time. That was only the first room that we went into.
Maybe Max will actually be a benefit.
So, Basilio, what I'm going to have you do, I'll give you a little bit of a chance, is make a body save with, whatever you think you could add to it to see if you make your death save en route.
That strikes me as something that I can add as a skill to it, and I don't think it makes sense roleplay wise. So I will leave it up to a blank check to see if it goes or not.
All right. Oni.
Well, I was just going to say, would I not actually be able to contribute to that in some way?
You might be able to. You have pharma.
Oh, right. Pharma. So does anybody remember which one is which to use in this situation?
So Blue Heaven just decreases stress and fear checks. Kleck would be of no use because it just gives you speed, and then there's Purple Haze, do or die.
Do or die.
6-cylinder reflex, or the juice, it gives you advantage in all checks for the scene, and then you make a body save after. What would Oni do?
He's going to, while Harm is sort of fading in and out, he's going to take a cigarette out of his mouth and substitute a Purple Haze.
Yes,
and light that up.
It's just Purple Haze is like whetstone. It's like in a little cup powder, that kind of mucosa surface thing. A little bit of sludge, really.
Yeah, okay, so I'll put it on the end of my finger and rub it on his gums.
All right. So,
the good news is if he dies, he doesn't have to make a body save afterward.
Yeah.
Right. So at least gives you advantage on your death save. So you could roll it twice and take whichever one. Let's see. It's been a while since we rolled death saves, hasn't it?
Yeah.
Let me get the book. I think it's just straight 1d10, right?
There is a section under the roll tables that has a death save on it.
On the roll tables?
Yeah.
All right, you can make it straight from there where it's on. Oh, there it is, death save. Yeah.
Okay, I see it.
Yeah, you roll it twice and take the better. Without intervention. All right. So, Basilio, you start to gray out. I think your blood volume dips. You're bleeding into your right chest cavity, and you're falling unconscious. In that last moment, Oni's going to have a possibility to save you because you buy yourself rounds because you're unconscious and dying. So you travel over on the shuttle and you start to lose consciousness. Your vision goes out to gray. In those last moments, aside from beseeching Oni to save your teamsters, Does Basilio say anything else?
I think he goes back to that moment where he was with what's her name, Sura, and they were in front of that graffiti. It said something along the lines of like "Live fast, die young" kind of deal. I think he would probably light up another cigarette and then just say that mantra to himself as the cigarette falls from those lips and his eyes close.
All right.
May Basilio's mom not come back to haunt us in real life.
Harm and Odie.
He'll haunt me.
Yeah, Harm and Odie. Basilio probably lights that cigarette and mumbles something. It tips from his mouth and hits the ground. Little sparks come up just as the spider shuttle attaches to the Bishop Gambit. Oni, you have minutes really to save his life. The airlock door opens. What does Oni do aside from run to cryo?
Would it be cryo, not the medical bay?
Yeah, you don't quite have a medical bay on the Bishop's Gambit. You have cryo.
The only thing we have is Dr. Rizal's makeshift lab that isn't really a lab. So
That's right.
cryo's probably the best bet.
You probably have enough in cryo either to put him in cryostasis or enough tools to perhaps perform basic surgery and make an attempt to save Basilio's life.
What is an automed treatment? That's better than a stim pack.
Yes, it is.
One of those.
You have automed?
Yeah.
What does it say?
Nothing. I just added it. So I mean, I didn't just add it. We had it from before. If you remember, we picked them up. I think at the last time that we were on
with Dr. Zal, he had it too.
Yeah.
At that last ship.
Yeah, I think automeds are more like epinephrine, blood pressure support, that sort of thing. I think you would have that kind
Here,
of...
I have it. I have the description right here. It says,
Okay.
nanotech pills that assist your body in repairing damage by granting advantage to body saves meant to repel disease and poison, as well
Yeah.
as attempts to heal from rest.
What was that last line? Heal from...
Rest.
Oh, heal from... Okay, so that's not going to help, I don't think. Let's just get him into cryo until we can get him back to a medical ship.
Sure, you would just make a roll to see if
Intellect?
you... Right. Intellect plus surgery. I'll let you make a roll to see you connect him into cryo. Do you fix him enough to...
Oh, that was going to be
22.
82.
Critical success. Well, it's
Oni's good.
the best result you could get. What happens, Oni? Like, how does he save Basilio's life in cryo? I see maybe Harm carry cryo back, or carry Basilio back, lay him into a cryo coffin. What does a critical success in...
Well, critical success would probably be using some kind of a tube to remove the pneumothorax and stabilize the lung, and get him in a good place so that the cryo is a natural, not an emergency procedure, but a natural procedure.
Okay. Like you recognize perhaps what to do with his wound through you maybe put in a chest tube just below the wound, close up the wound itself with, stitchery, and
with a glue gun.
settle him in cryo, like have it auto IV and get it closed so his lung reinflates, and close his cryo lid with a critical success. I would expect with a critical success, Basilio, roll 1d10.
That was going to be an 82 though, and then it just flipped at the last second.
10 days. So as the cryo lid closes on Basilio, you've put in a chest tube either above or below the main wound. You've closed the layers above it to close that wound over, either tied off or cauterized any intercostal bleeding, and lay Basilio into his cryo bed. It's going to take him 10 days in cryo to recover, really, heal that up. He's going to make some rolls when he comes out of cryo, but Oni, you're almost positive that Basilio is going to survive. As you close the coffin of his cryo chamber, what does Oni say or do?
I'm on mute. How about those rats? Wow.
Well, nah. Well, now that I think about it, I was more after accidentally shooting Basilio, I was thinking that I might not have even made it to live to see Basilio's mom rain vengeance because of Dr. Addis.
What is Harm feeling is Basilio is probably going to survive.
Probably a bit of relief because it wasn't his intention to shoot him straight in the chest. So, like, the fact that he has a decent chance of recovery, like, makes him feel eases his guilt a little bit, but not enough to be like, okay, like, I shot this man when he didn't deserve it, kind of. So,
Has he ever
those
been
damn
involved in
rats.
friendly fire?
By mistake, yes. Though it's probably more of like a thigh shot where someone accidentally lost a leg kind of thing, not lost their life. So
Basilio, you're probably dreaming somewhere. Where would Basilio go? This teamster who gets things done, drinks hard, lives hard, smokes way more than he should. If Basilio is dreaming, what does Basilio dream about having never left Siesta 3?
I think he would be dreaming about being back there in some kind of like garage or storage area, working on industrial equipment, which he has known all his life, with a cold pack of booze right next to him, fresh carton of cigs, smoking, tinkering away, doing the best that he can. That's his happy place. Out of character, if Basilio lives, he's gonna have a lot of emotional trauma. He's gonna have a lot of distrust in the team.
for good reason. There's also the fact that those fucking rats are like if Dr. Addis ends up having any questions, I'm gonna be like, long story short, rats, we do not need to focus on the details right now. Let's get him alive. Like
Space rats.
Yeah, you have like 10
space
days.
rats.
10 days on station. Obviously, Max isn't here, so it would be hard to tell what you all would do. Oni Basilio has implored you to save his teamsters. You know it's going to take him 10 days to get out of cryo.
And they don't have 10 days.
Yeah.
The others.
What would Oni think? What would he say about that request, or what would he advise?
It's not necessarily something that I would think, but I mean, what I would do would be what I think we all need to do is come up with a better game plan. I think we underestimated the rats, and we're going to
I
have
don't
to
think
go
we even
in.
expected the rats.
Yeah, but I mean, Bass just walked up and he was checking to see if it was one of his friends, and he was like, "Oh, I'm just going to shoo these rats away," and it's like,
It wasn't even those rats. It was the rats that were hanging out in the storage area. It wasn't even the ones that he was inspecting. It was a different set.
I think they're all the same rats. I mean,
They all swarmed. Yeah,
The
they all
rats
swarmed
have the
together. But I'm saying that the
of a
rats that
toddler
attacked
who
him
can
weren't the
actually
ones
plan.
on the body.
too many at once.
Yeah, but like I said, the rats have an intelligence of a toddler who can actually like game plan what the hell they're gonna do.
Yeah. So,
Smart ass rat toddlers.
yeah. I mean, whatever Max was doing, Max was probably working on the ship. We're going to have to say, Max, we're going to need you now to.
or he was with you and suffered the same terribleness, perhaps. What we're doing is we're ended there for today, unexpectedly, maybe a little early, and we're regrouped next week. Obviously, that was unexpected. Hopefully, you had fun.
Oh yeah.
Very unexpected. I didn't expect to get blasted by.
Don't make her feel bad.
I was not expecting to like when I was shooting that. Let's be honest, I probably should have done the fucking flamethrower.
I think a critical failure. I think that was apropos. Like you get a critical failure. If you get a critical failure and there's anyone else around you that could be in danger, you perhaps hit them and they have to make a roll to get out of the way. I think in the future we would probably do that with critical failures with attacks of that nature if it's reasonable. I think the dice itself called that out. Called it out even before I did it. Like critical failure to your roll means Bass has to make a roll to get out, and then he fails his roll, and it's just one of those
I
things.
failed it by landing on the
The number.
check.
Exactly.
And if you remember, right, like all my characters died that way, I think, right? I'm not sure if Dr. Resolve died that way of a critical failure, but the antithesis of my first character, missed a shot that opened up the tubes that spilled out a bunch more aliens, and that led
Right.
to his death. Yeah.
And
So it was
the rats were a percentage likelihood, and so Basilio had 25% likelihood of encountering them while rummaging through the storage to get food. And so I just rolled that, and I rolled a 22, and I was like, well, guess that what happens. It wasn't planned. I actually used the randomness that's written in this particular section, but hopefully y'all had fun. I did have fun.
Yeah,
Although I didn't really necessarily want Basilio to die either.
No, but y'all have to. There were three rolls, and Bass actually rolled the lethal roll of the shotgun wound. Don't forget. So that's three in a row. Three, boom, boom, boom.
Yeah. No, I mean this game is supposed to be deadly. So
Right.
Yeah.
What we're doing.
Somehow, so far, it's only been deadly for your characters, which I don't understand.
Yeah. Maybe I should just stay in the background then. Let you guys lead for once, and I'll stay in the backdrop. Maybe I'll this time.
What I'll probably do is message you, Landshark, about options or ideas of what you run while Basilio is asleep for 10 days, because I get the sense that the group wouldn't wait for him to wake up. They'd try to save his teamsters.
Yeah.
And that could be any number of things. And we're shoot some ideas, Landshark, of what you could run in the meantime.
Yeah, I have thoughts about that too. So yeah, I'll go back and forth with you.
And that's pretty easy. And you and I can go back and forth about what you could potentially do, and we're ended there.
Yeah, well, let's be honest. If he lives and we don't save his people in that time, he's gonna rain hell like those rats rained down the Renaissance painting of hell.
Yeah, it's gonna be an interesting. If he lives, it's gonna be a very interesting team dynamic, because I will definitely. Bring the emotional turmoil